Look, there's no denying it, property is lucrative and it has been for years, and that's the reason why I love it. Stick around in this video and I'll show you how I made close to £800,000 from one property. Yes, that's one property that I did nothing but hold for a duration of time, and it rose £45,000 every year, and it continues to do so. So why property? Simply put it, if you hold it long enough, it will increase in value. And the general rule of thumb is that it will double every 10 years. And look, I can pretty much vouch for that. I've owned a place close to 17 years, and not only has it doubled, but it's doubled and then it's kind of half doubled again. And the best bit, it's a rental property. I haven't paid for it, the clients that live there have paid for it, and the mortgage is slowly being paid off by them. A no-brainer. Not only do I gain a positive cash flow through this asset every single month, but it's appreciating, it's going up in value, up. And you know what? It goes up more than the average London salary. How good would it be if there was a way for me to take that appreciation out every single year? I'm sure someone will figure that out somewhere along the line, but for now, I haven't. Hey, my name's James, also known as Uncle James, and on this channel, I talk about all things property related and how I invest in property to build long-term generational wealth for my children, and hope that when I'm not around, my children don't simply mess this up or screw it up or sell it all, but there's no guarantees to that. I also look at creating high profitability from properties and how I can maximize profits from one single property. In this video, I break down how one property has made me some serious money and how sticking at it long enough and trusting the process can do the same for you. Well, it all started for me at the age of 23 when my late mother, who was also my best friend, said to me, "James, I think you should think about buying your first home." As you can imagine, at the age of 23, the only thing James was concerned with was going out, having a great time, hanging around with my friend, trying to impress the ladies and wondering where my next pint was going to come from. And yes, it was pretty trendy to hang out in dark, dingy pubs back then as well. When all my friends were out there buying BMWs, Mercedes, because you know what, that was the cool thing Indian guys did back then, I was about to commit to this long-term relationship known as a mortgage. Was I scared? Absolutely. Was I ready for it? Not at all. But there was no way my mother was going to let me off scot-free buying cars. Now, when you're 24 and you've just got your first proper job after university, you're earning what back then was a decent salary, the last thing you want to do is be skint. I had years of being skint at university and I really didn't want to go back to beans on toast, and that's exactly what happened to me. After paying the mortgage and all the associated costs with it, each month I was literally left with £60 a month. I remember looking at my mother and thinking, why the hell did I ever listen to you? I was rolling around in a 17-year-old Saab 900. Now look, a lot of yous are probably not even old enough to remember the brand Saab, let alone the Saab 900 convertible. But it's the God's honest truth, that's how skint I literally was after committing to this property, that's all that I can afford. And I remember my mum's famous words. She used to say to me in a strong Indian accent, "One day you will thank me for this, son. Don't you worry." And you know what? Right to a word, fast forward 17 years and I find myself looking up at the sky and thinking, do you know what? You were so right. And I can hear her voice. Saying to me, "I told you so, son." And you know, sometimes you just got to face it. A mother knows best. Now, to put all of this into perspective for you, I bought the place for £388,000. Now look, I know that's expensive, but I wanted to buy it in the best part of town and the nicest street where I knew that I'd have no issue selling this if I needed to sell it later on. Now, only last year, at the height of the pandemic in 2021, this place was valued at a whopping £1.1 million. And yes, true to the word, I have owned it for just close to 17 years, but it just goes to show you that in that period, it's grown £770,000 from what I bought it for. And I've done literally nothing but hold this place, maintain this place. I've even had multiple neighbours wanting to buy this place off me for years because they know it's a rental, and when they do see me on the odd occasion, it's always like, "James, if you're selling, let me know." But you know what? I can see that, and I must admit, this house is in the prettiest street, in the nicest location, and I'm not being biased when I say it is the prettiest looking house on the street. Imagine if I decided not to listen to my mother back then and I decided just to go ahead and buy a BMW or a Mercedes like all my friends were doing. I wonder what that BMW or Mercedes would be worth right now. Well, let's find out. Well, a quick search on eBay for a BMW 2005 brings back a price of around £3,000 to £4,000, and for a Mercedes 2005 again brings a price back of around £4,000 to £5,000. Now both of these cars new would have been around £35,000 to £40,000. Now I know you can't compare the two. Of course, I had to put a hell of a lot of money in, more than my friends had to buy the car. But the point being, property will always make you wealthy over time, and my goal has always been to create generational wealth and pass this generational wealth on to the next generation. Well, another reference that my wise old mum used to say to me was, James, everything that you own is temporary. You are just borrowing it, and make sure you add something to it and you enjoy something from it. And from that she just meant, make sure when you pass on that there's something added to this so that the generational wealth will continue on, and hopefully the generation after you adds a little bit more on, and the generation after adds a little bit more on and enjoys a little bit. Now I am going to do a video about generational wealth, but for now let's just focus on the above. So you can see, without doing much work at all, you can get pretty wealthy in property. Now a caveat to this, you do need to buy in the right area to see this kind of appreciation, and you do need to make sure you're buying the correct type of property that will have massive demand for years to come. And you know what, I will talk about buying in the right areas in a separate video, but for now I want to leave you with the following. Wealth through property doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as easy as buying, holding. Ask yourself one question: could you save more than 770k in 17 years from your salary? I know I couldn't do that, and that's why I'm using property to get me wealthy. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you got to do. Hit that subscribe button, share this video with somebody who might benefit from it, and also please do comment below, because I love a good natter and I promise I will reply. It's over and out from me, but thank you for watching.